Hi guys, it's Hellcrusher56X, and today we are going to be reviewing all of the weapons from the Frostmoon to see whether they actually pipe up to what they should be in that stage of the game. So first of all, we're starting off with Melee. So, for melee weapons, we've got the North Pole and the Christmas Tree Sword from this. So, hold on, this is the wrong layer. Okay, yeah. So, the North Pole is a spear, and this is like a niche subclass. Obviously, in melee, you got spears, you got yo-yos, you got flails, all that. This is the best spear in the game, basically. The only other spear that's near close to it is the Gungnir, which is from the previous stage of progression. Which means, obviously, this is going to be really good in its subclass. So really, the only way we can really compare it is in its own, like, full class, which is melee. So the only thing we should really compare it to is the Terrorblade. Of course, I'm going to compare it to the Gungnir anyway, just to show you. But, so first of all, let's just have a look at how they do in single target DPS. So, for the North Pole, you've got decent 750 DPS. Can I turn my music down, Rob? Okay, the audio should be fixed now. So, as you can see, getting 800 DPS, yeah, with the North Pole, at least single target. One thing you can consider is this is like one of the only weapons that's a spear that actually does projectiles, which I'd say is pretty cool. But for single target, that doesn't really matter, other than the fact that you can shoot it from far away. Like, look at this. I mean, if you're good enough, and if you don't miss like me, you can actually hit things from far away. But that's obviously something that Gungnir can't do. If you're all the way over here and you don't want to touch him, well, you can't touch him with your spear either, so oopsie daisies, what are you going to do about it? Of course, that's not really a problem with all these other ones. Let's talk about these other ones. Christmas Tree Sword. Just with the projectiles doing a nasty amount of damage. But if we go in with the actual sword, as you can see, we're getting a nice amount of damage. 1200, 1300 damage per second. That's actually a really respectable amount of damage, I'd say. And let's compare that to its contemporary, the Terrorblade, which we should also compare to the North Pole, which is doing a nasty 1500 damage per second. The Terrorblade's just really good. There's, of course, from far away, then the Terrorblade's only going to be doing like 600, 500 DPS, but I'm assuming so is this, right? Unless we can get above it, because if we get above it, then this is just going to do a nasty amount of damage, I think. No, maybe not. I think the, yeah, it's doing about the same amount of damage, but yeah, so that's something to consider there. Compared to the North Pole and the Christmas Tree Sword, the Terrorblade's just way better single target. It's just a little bit better than the Christmas Tree Sword, actually, so if you're not bothered grinding for the Terrorblade, you can go for the Christmas Tree Sword. It's only a little bit worse. But now we're going to move on to multi-target, and you're going to see what really matters here. So, first of all, let's just do the North Pole. First of all, I'm just going to do it stabbing like this for multiple target, and we're getting, that's really respectable, 4000 DPS. If we're going above it like this and trying to hit it with the projectiles, then I'm not sure how it's going to do. Of course, this means you can keep your distance, but it seems like you're only really getting 1000, 1200 DPS here, whilst if you're actually getting close up, then you're getting way more damage. But, of course, the Gungnir, you can't go far away, you have to be close, which means your only option is this, where, sorry, I might have messed that up with, you're getting about the same damage, just a little bit lower, but I feel like the ability to go far away and be able to shoot things from there is really important, especially in this point in the game where you might be a little bit more fragile than you want to be, especially in Expert and Master mode. Now the Christmas Tree Sword, if you're getting close and personal with it, then you're only getting like 2500 DPS, but if you're going above it and trying to hit everyone with these nasty little bauble things, then, well, first of all, you're avoiding everyone. Second of all, you're still hitting the 2500 DPS mark, even 3,000 if you're lucky, which is pretty good. So I would say this is actually not even half bad for the multiple target here for the Christmas tree sword. But the Terrorblade is literally known for being able to blast through everything, so it's matching the spheres really close up, whilst you can still stand decently far away. If we're standing far away and we're not letting the actual sword hit it, then we're still getting like, what, 3,000 damage? That's not too bad. So, as you can see, most of these are doing pretty well for multiple targets. Of course, long-range multiple target the Gungnir can't do, but for close range, then they're all doing pretty equally. As for the single target, we've already seen that the swords are just doing better than the spears in general, and the Gungnir's rubbish at it. Well, not rubbish, but shut up. Right. So, now let's move on to the actual tests, because, I mean, well, you can always hack at dummies, but, well, how's it actually going to hold up in this point in the game? Now, these are post-spawn terror weapons, so what you're realistically going to be using them for is Golem and, what, like the Martian invasion, these post-Golem invasions sort of things that you're going to do. So, that's what we're going to test them against. First of all, we're going to test them against Golem. So, we got our Golem here, beautiful guy. Let's just test it out, see how each of these weapons does. First of all, we've got the North Pole. If you're keeping your distance, then it's not doing the best amount of damage. But I mean, it's a spear, you really shouldn't be keeping your distance that much. Still doing a decent amount of damage actually at a single target. 1,500 damage. That's about the same as the Terrorblade actually. If you're trying to pierce it this way, you're getting 2,000 damage. And if you're getting right up close and personal, I don't know how you're doing this, probably a bunch of like generation stuff. But you can get a pretty high DPS level here. So that's something to consider. Versus the Gungnir, where you can't stay away, you have to get in close, and, well, you're just not getting much damage, are you? I've had to do this once on my expert playthrough where I used only spear. No, it wasn't an expert playthrough, it was just a normal playthrough. But it was still a real big pain to kill Golem. Imagine how hard it would be to try and kill Golem in expert mode with the Gungnir. This would be rubbish. So if you are using spears, then you need to go and get the North Pole for yourself. The Christmas tree sword, well, let's have a look. Hopefully these baubles will be killing them a little bit. Oh, nice! That's a lot of damage. That's like 2,000 DPS. If we're getting up close and personal, we're getting at least 2,000. Plus all of these baubles landing on him. Genuinely really good. Absolutely decimating him. And then of course we've got to test out the Terrorblade just for reference. It's alright. If we're getting close enough, then it's also doing alright. It's getting 1,700. About the same as the Christmas tree sword, just a little bit less. And then if you're actually trying to do this little single target bit, I don't think the Christmas tree sword's going to go down in DPS very much for this. It's not. This one's going to go down in DPS a little bit to 1,100. North Pole. Oh, that's not too hot at all. Only really getting 700 DPS, and of course you've got the rubbish Gungnir. It's not actually rubbish. I don't know why I keep calling it rubbish. It's just outdated by this point in the game. Like, this would be really good for a Plantera run. Might not even be better than Glorified Pirates. I don't know, I haven't tested it. But it's just a little, you're trying to bring it a little bit too far into the game here, which is why it's underperforming compared to these other ones. So, as for the actual things we're talking about here, which is the Frostmoon weapons, the North Pole, obviously the best spear in this, and it's also holding up decently well for a general melee sort of weapon if you want that. And then the Christmas tree sword is looking like a great alternative to the Terrorblade. It's performing about the same or even better in some cases than it, whilst being probably quite a lot easier to get. You don't have to search up and try and find about a billion different swords. You only need to get one sword from the Everscream. So that's pretty considerable. But let's check out the Martian invasion and see whether that's gonna see whether that's gonna make any difference on our opinions. Let's just slide up this spawn rate. I already have a Martian invasion going on. Here's what I made earlier, I suppose. Let's start out with the Gungnir. I feel like I love those little last sounds that they make, like minute. But the Gungnir, it's it's not doing too hot. I feel like we're trying to bring it a little too far. This is a post-golden thing. You're still using a mech boss sort of weapon. Nah, not really. I mean, you can't really see whether this is bad or not until I actually show you the North Pole, which is, well, it's just doing better than the Gungnir in every way, shape, and form, isn't it? It can actually shoot from far away. It can probably pierce from far away as well, I have no idea. Just generally doing better than the Gungnir in all ways. Christmas Tree Sword, I'm quite confident in this because it's got those baubles. It should be able to rain down on everyone. And it seems like we kind of are able to do that. We're just coming over here. Yeah, no, this is definitely a decent option. Now let's try out the Terrorblade. I know that's what you guys are waiting for, because the Terrorblade is the reference that everyone gets. Because everyone's probably tried the Terrorblade before. Not everyone's tried these Frostmourne weapons before. It's doing about the same as the Christmas Tree Sword, maybe slightly better than the North Pole was. I mean, the North Pole generally isn't the best, it's just a reasonable weapon. But in Spears, of course, it's better. But, yeah, the Christmas Tree Sword's really holding up against the Terrorblade in this situation. So, yeah, that's something you might want to consider. Onto the ranged weapons! We actually have 3 different ranged weapons here. We've got the Snowman Cannon, which is a rocket launcher. We've got the Chain Gun, which is just a normal gun. And then we've got the Elf Melter, which is actually a flamethrower, which is quite unusual. So, we're comparing it to the Grenade Launcher, which is just a early post-Plantera thing. It just drops from Plantera. Easier to get than this Snowman Cannon, and it's quite a good comparison because they're both rocket launchers. And we're comparing the other two to the Nail Gun, which is a decent all-rounder from that point post-Plantera, but pre-Golem. So, let's just test out all of these bad boys on single target. Snowman Cannon, reasonable 700 DPS, I think, compared to the Grenade Launcher. Okay, it's not doing too hot, 400 DPS. I don't know why the Grenade Launcher is doing so bad compared to the Snowman Cannon, but, by the way, the Snowman Cannon's also homing. You can't see because, these are dummies, but, yeah, it literally homes towards the thing, and it's doing twice as much damage as the Grenade Launcher. Why would you ever use the Grenade Launcher instead of the Snowman Cannon if you're doing one of these? I don't know. Okay, but as you can see, the Snowman Cannon's a really good option if you're using a rocket launcher sort of thing. In general ranged weapons, let's see how good it is compared to these. Oh, I should be using bullets, shouldn't I? No, I shouldn't. No, this is probably... So you're probably going to be using the Chain Gun with Chlorophyte bullets. It's actually quite inaccurate. It's not the best for actually aiming, so you're going to want to use Chlorophyte bullets so you can actually hit your target. So this is a more realistic DPS than you'd normally be getting. Decent 600, 700 DPS, about the same as the Snowman Cannon actually for single target, even with those little bit weak Chlorophyte bullets. So that's pretty considerable. These are about the same single target DPS. Let's just check out the Elf Melter. My prediction is this is probably going to be better multiple target than single target. It just seems like that sort of weapon. But looks like I'm decently correct. Actually, 600 DPS, about the same as the other ones, just slightly below. These are like 650 and 700 respectively. And this is 600. Not exactly the best, but also it's completely fine. If you're that way inclined, it's fine actually. And then let's just check on that Nail Gun for reference. And the Nail Gun's a bit of a weird gun because it takes a while to actually start doing the damage. But as you can see, we're getting 700, 750 damage, about the same as the Snowman Cannon, just slightly more. So as you can see, these 3 are decently top end on single target, about the same level as the Nail Gun, and of course the Grenade Launcher is way behind for some reason, I don't even know. But how does they do on multiple target? So let's just check out the Snowman Cannon. Looks like it's piercing 3 and the blast radius is hitting 5, and it's getting really good 3,100 DPS, 3,250. Let's see where we can get any better from going up from above. Yeah, 4,000 DPS if we are hitting from above. 5,000 DPS is that, did I just see? That's pretty insane. That's really good for a post-Plantera gun. Well, post-Plantera rocket launcher, but let's just not hold on that. Compared to the grenade launcher, which is what we should be comparing it to, it's doing pretty well as well. Like 3,900, 3,700. Not half bad. If you're just going from it from the side, yeah, only like 2,000 DPS, not quite as good. So obviously the Snowman Cannon is easily beating out the grenade launcher and even this as well. But let's see how they compare to the actual other guns in this actual class, because of course grenade launchers are just a subclass. We need to actually give it a fair test versus everyone else. Hold on, where have my bullets gone? Okay, so for the chain gun, I'd heavily suggest using like high velocity bullets or some other sort of piercing bullet if you actually want to use it for multiple target, because as you can see in chlorophyte bullets, it doesn't pierce. So you really want a piercing bullet if you actually want to stand a chance against these big things. And for some reason there's a visual glitch where you can't actually see it going through, but this is what it actually looks like, and looks like it pierces 3 and 1,800 DPS. That's about the same as the grenade launcher. So maybe Snowman Cannon is outstanding and grenade launcher is normal for this one. Or maybe the chain gun's also bad, I have no idea. Let's check out the Elf Melter, there's a bit more of a reference. So it pierces 4 enemies, getting 2,000 DPS. It's looking like 2,000 DPS is like the regular amount of DPS to have for multiple target here. But let's just check out the chain gun, see how that does, comparing to all of these. Hold on, I need to wait for all this stuff to stop burning. I didn't realise the Elf Melter made stuff burn for so long, jeez. So let's just test out these chain... What am I talking about? Not the chain gun, the nail gun. Nail gun. Jeez, it's doing pretty well, like 3,000 DPS. And I think the nails explode. I think that's why it's doing this. The nails explode in a decent blast radius. So just against these dummies, it looks like it's doing the same as like the Snowman Cannon. So the nail gun's pretty good in either direction, but that's just because it's the main thing we're comparing it to. So as we can see, the Snowman Cannon's definitely holding up to what the other things put it to. But the other two, well, the chain gun's pretty good on individual, but not great on several. And then it's like the reverse for the Elf Melter. Well, the Elf Melter's still decently good in general. It's just like, I think it's just a bit mid. And then same for the chain gun, but not as much for the single target. And then I think the Snowman Cannon's pretty good. It's probably one of the best weapons for this time, but how will we know unless we actually test it? So let's go back to Golem and the Martian Invasion to see how they do. First of all, we've got some Golem up in here. Let's just try out the Snowman Cannon really quickly. And as you can see, this homing's really handy. Really handy? Yeah, really handy. It's making us able to hit this easily with... I think that's a bit of a skewed result because he was literally standing on those dummies there. Let's see how much DPS we're actually getting here. Decent 1,500 to 2,000 DPS. That's actually pretty impressive. I'd say this is a pretty good option for Golem compared to the grenade launcher, which is what, 1,000 DPS? Literally half of it. I don't think you should really be using this for Golem. If you can get your hands on a Snowman Cannon by then, you should just use it instead. It's just way better than the grenade launcher. Check out the chain gun. Oh, I haven't changed my bullets back. Maybe I shouldn't. Let's see. We're getting like 600 DPS with this. Let's try it with the homing bullets. Even worse with the homing bullets. We're only getting like 500 DPS. I thought that like the chain gun was gonna shine, but geez, it's not really not. The chain gun's just being a bit of a disappointment here. Only 500 DPS. That's a bit of a disappointment in general. Let's try it like this with the oh, that's doing pretty well actually. Like 1,000 DPS. I think this is where it shines because there's 3 different sections of it. That's definitely considerable. The Elf Melter's doing way better than I thought it would do on Golem. So I guess that's something you should consider. And of course the nail gun, it's just a decent hallmark example. Of course it can't really show you because the hand has gone off now. But yeah, so looks like the single target snowman cannon holding up as well for this golem. And the only one that really seems to be lacking here is the grenade launcher and a chain gun. But hopefully the chain gun will redeem itself once we test it with the Martian invasion. Let's have a look now. What are we at? Like 1 times? Yes, okay. So, first of all, let's have a go with the regular grenade launcher. And it's hardly... okay. Let's try and go from above since it seemed to be the best way to do it last time. When we tested out with the dummies. I mean, these are all getting in like cracks and crevices. It's quite difficult to actually hit any of them. But the good thing about this is that they don't immediately explode on impact. They roll around until they hit something or until like a timer runs out. Which means that at least more of your ammo is going towards a root cause. But in terms of damage, it's not the best. It's not okay. Let's compare it to the snowman cannon, for example. I don't think this pierces because why would it? It's like it is a rocket launcher, but looks like you can really just run around and kill whatever you see a lot more easily than with the grenade launcher. Plus you don't even need to aim as much either. The grenade launcher, you need to be really precise since it's also got an arc. If you just have a look here, grenade launcher shooting with an arc, and then this is literally homing. It's literally well, it's not 2 sides of the same coin, it's literally the opposite. Right, so basically, snowman cannon, as you can see, just way better. Chain gun, oh, I need to switch out my bullets. Let's have a look. Okay, so I'm hoping this will actually redeem itself since, well, it didn't do too hot on the golem. But looks like it's not really. I mean, of course, you can use it. It looks like it's piercing just fine, but it's just lacking a little bit in the DPS factor. Like, what are we getting here? 400, 500 DPS? With the other ones, we're getting like 1,000. I feel like this is just a bit poor, to be honest, from the chain gun. I feel like this is just a bit of a disappointment of a gun in general. I felt like it was going to be way better because of how fast it shot, but really the low damage is literally just hurting it way too much. And then what I've been waiting for is the Elf Melter, because I thought this would be really good on multiple target. Obviously that was just one thing, but let's test it out on these bad boys. Looks like you can destroy people pretty good with this one. It's basically doing the same job as the chain gun was, but better. And I think it does have a little bit of knockback. Maybe not too much, but yeah, extremely weak. But considering how often it's hitting, doesn't really matter. So the Elf Melter, it may also be lacking a little bit in DPS, but not nearly as much as the chain gun, and it's quite good at controlling the crowd as well. And then finally, let's have a look at the nail gun with it. How are we doing? It's quite hard to aim it at everything because this ammo is just so hard to see on your screen. If you're skilled enough to actually hit stuff, then it does a decent amount of damage once it starts exploding. But it's really just a little bit difficult to use. I wouldn't really recommend this for multiple target, especially compared to the snowman cannon and the Elf Melter. Just seems to be doing way better than it, which is why I think that that's pretty good for if you're trying to do the Martian invasion. These weapons are actually pretty good options. Let's move on to magic. Abracadabra, I don't know. So for the magic options here, we've got 2 that are actually from it, and then we're comparing it to the Inferno Fork, which seems to be the best option from that period in the game. So first of all, we've got the Razor Pine. Let's just test them all on single DPS first. A Razor Pine is known for being good at single target DPS. Look at this. 1300 DPS? That's pretty impressive. That's about the same as like Terrorblade and stuff we're hitting. Well, Magic's always known for having good DPS, isn't it? But yeah, that's really impressive. This is probably one of the best in general DPS towers. What am I talking about, towers? One of the best in general DPS weapons in this point of the game, full stop. It doesn't even need to be classified as magic, it's just generally one of the best. Compared to, let's have a look, the Blizzard Staff. Okay, so immediately it looks like the Blizzard Staff, it's more to do with bigger targets, because with this just single target, then it's not really hitting all of its things. It's kind of similar to the Dead of the Stormbow, actually, but it's actually a mage weapon as well. And then, finally, let's check out the Inferno Fork with this. It's doing alright. I mean, 500 DPS. Compared to the other things that we've tested today, it's not the worst thing in the world. But compared to the Blizzard Staff, whilst missing everything, we're still hitting 600 DPS. And the Razorpine's hitting thrice as much as it. Like, maybe you shouldn't be using the Inferno Fork for single target DPS. I'm just hoping it'll redeem itself over here, compared to, well, these. Razorpine, well, it doesn't really pierce very much. It's still really something to consider from it. The Razorpine's really a single target thing. You really shouldn't be using it in multiple target things. You really just can't get it to pierce whatsoever, really. Yeah, no. You can only really sustain that same 1250 DPS you were getting on the single target here. You can't really get any further than that. And versus the Blizzard Staff, which I'm quite confident will actually do quite well here. Okay, 2000 DPS, not half bad, I'd say. Definitely better than the Razorpine. About as good as the ranged weapons, actually. And then, the Inferno Fork, just as a reference. Am I about to be surprised? Oh my goodness, I am surprised. That's like 4000 DPS. That's just absolutely smashing both of these in multiple target DPS. That's crazy. I didn't know the Inferno Fork was so good. Jeez. Well, obviously, if you want a multiple target, then go for Inferno Fork, and single target Razorpine. That's what it's looking like. But we may as well at least test it against everything else first to make sure. So here we got some Golem. Looks like we're maintaining this about 1000. I think it's because he's got more shielding than we're getting like only like 1000 DPS here. But it's still respectable, I think. Just not quite no, actually this is respectable. The only issue is you can't really hit all three of them at once, so you're gonna have to be more focused about it, sadly. Plus, it's gonna be quite hard to aim this properly and try and actually hit all these fists. But in general, it seems like it's not too bad. Versus the Blizzard Staff, I'm quite confident. Golden's quite a big hitbox, so I reckon. Oh, nice, yeah. I think this is where it's actually supposed to shine. Like 1000 DPS. That's not even that bad. I think this is a very suitable target for the Blizzard Staff to go after. I guess the Razorpine is meant for smaller enemies and the Blizzard Staff's made for larger enemies. Because this is definitely doing quite well against Golem compared to the Blizzard Staff. No, it's against the Razorpine. And then let's just try the Inferno Fork anyway, because... And... You could use it, but, it's just, why would you when you've got these brilliant options from the Frost move? It's like, they're just doing way more damage than this thing could ever. So it looks like for single target, then these two have definitely got the edge out on the other options at the time. So, let's move on to the Martian Madness. Okay, so here's the magic weapons against the Martian Madness. Looks like, well, as usual, Razorpine absolutely shredding these single target things, but it looks like you might get a little bit overwhelmed here with the amount of projectiles and just the amount of things that spawn. You might be able to kill one thing quite easily, but they stack up way too quickly for you to just be doing that. You need to get something else. But I think that just the brute force of this might actually be decent enough to work. It might not be the best option, but it's definitely a decent option here. That's actually surprising me, considering how bad it was doing on this test. It's actually not doing too bad against the real thing. Now let's compare it to the Blizzard Staff, where I think this might be better. I mean, you can obviously hit more things since look at all of these different projectiles. It might be a little bit harder to hit things since most of these in this are a little bit smaller, but it just means that you'll be able to hit more different things. So that's pretty good for multiple target. I don't even know whether it's better than the Razorpine. I suppose it's doing less DPS overall, but it is easier to work with the crowd. And then, the Inferno Fork, this is what I'm confident in. Yeah. Are you seeing this? You just put them in a hole, and then you blast it with the Inferno Fork, and then they just stop living, basically. It's just a magic killing device. Just shoot it down the hole until they all die, yeah. Basically, the Inferno Forks are a little bit OP when it comes to multiple target, which is why maybe you should focus on this. But if you don't have the time to go all the way out of your way to get the Inferno Fork, which is actually quite a respectable thing to not be able to do, then of course the Razorpine and the Blizzard Staff are decent options as well. So that's that for the magic weapons. Now for Okay, so as a recap, the Razorpine's brilliant for single target but not great for multiple target. Blizzard Staff is really good all-rounder actually. I was quite surprised by the Blizzard Staff. Plus it's in 3DS version as well if you want to go do that. I think these are all in the 3DS version actually. And considering that some of these weapons we've been facing them off against aren't even in the 3DS version, you just have to consider if you actually are playing on it, then it's probably a much better option for you. So, anyways, North Pole, Great Spear, just a mid-normal attacker. Christmas Tree Sword actually holds up really well against the other option, which is the Terrorblade. And then you got the Snowman Cannon, pretty good all-rounder. Chain Gun, absolute disappointment actually. And then the Elf Melter is just decent all-rounder. So that's a recap for everything we've done here, and thank you guys for watching. Hi guys, it's Hellcrit56X, and it's the 22nd of December, I believe, which means, oh geez. Okay, we're making a stable today. That's a bit of a thing. Okay. Geez, I completely forgot. Well, hopefully it shouldn't be too difficult to make a stable. This is really putting my building skills to test. I'm not exactly a great builder, as you might be able to tell, but let's have a look. So we just have that there. I mean, I normally make stables for my horses whenever I play in survival mode anyway, so hopefully this should just be quite simple. Let's have a look. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, yeah. Oh, damn it. Right. It's fine, it's fine. Wait, why am I going up already? We want like three that are like this, and then we'll have 3 that gone up one. We're gonna have like a slanted sort of roof, if you can see, like going up like that way. Like, I know the normal sort of stable has it going like in the regular house sort of roof shape, but I like this shape of that sort of thing, so well, that's what we're doing today. It's my stable. Well, it's not really my stable, but shut up. Shut up, imaginary person that I'm making up. Anyway, looks like our stable's doing pretty well here. Just need to... Okay, the roof looks like it's pretty much done. I'm gonna add in... This can be the side with the entrance, and then the rest of them can be walled off. I'm not gonna make it all out of wood though. I think I'm gonna just chuck down some... Or maybe like... Yeah, chuck down some of these fences. So you can still kind of see inwards. And... Maybe we need to get like... I don't know whether we need to get like doors or whether we should get like fence gates for the front. I think maybe we should get fence gates. And we can have him like double as well. Yeah, let's just get some spruce fence gates. I didn't even think of that when I was giving myself all this stuff. Well, the advent calendar gave a shut up. It was me. But I mean, I think I admitted to that on like the 5th of December when I said I can't even remember what I put in here, which is now what I'm regretting now because I didn't realize I had to build a stable. But whatever, we're building a stable now, and it's gonna be pretty epic. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks fine. And now we gotta build the inside. So first of all, I think we should get rid of the snow on the ground, and maybe put some hay on the sides. Well, let's just include this bit in the hay bit since I accidentally broke it. Yeah, so there's some hay. And then let's just chuck all of our animals inside this stable, because we can. So we've got a little horse, we've got a pig, a sheep, and a donkey. It's an odd-looking pig, isn't it? Weird. Anyway, oh, I forgot, we're gonna have a cow as well. There we are, we've got a cow. A weird-looking cow. But, that's what we got for today. A neat little stable. I don't think I've ever done this sort of thing before, other than in Survival Worlds. But yeah, pretty cool. We've got a stable for our advent calendar. I hope that when you guys go opening your advent calendars, you don't get a full-size stable, because that might actually crush you under the weight. But for me, it's just a pretty cool sort of thing to have. So thank you guys for watching, and see you guys tomorrow if you want to watch that. Goodbye!